So I've been saying for years that I really believe the healing of this world is going to come through women, but first we have to heal ourselves. And I don't know if there's any better example of how well trained we are to accept the degradation of ourselves and the normalization of our own abuse than the fact that there is a man who is the leading candidate for one of the parties who openly admitted, well, he was recorded, but he was bragging, it wasn't a secret, bragging about how he sexually assaults women. He's admitted, been accused by over 24 women, and convicted of sexually assaulting one of them. This is before politics, before the presidential race, and on a public forum for the whole world to see when he bragged about how gorgeous his daughter is, and if she wasn't his daughter, maybe he'd be dating her, which is so vomitous. It's if you're a father or a daughter, to have those words come out of your father's mouth, or as a father, would you ever think to say that about your daughter? Or if you're being interviewed on a talk show and they ask what you and your daughter have in common, the first word that comes to your mind is sex. So it's not really a secret that he sexually assaults women. Some women, maybe, first of all, they were saying it was locker room talk. I don't know what locker rooms they're hanging around in, but I've raised a son. I married a man. If I heard any of them talking that way, it would be heartbreaking. I would feel I failed as a mother, and I certainly wouldn't want to be with a man who talks like that. But the normalization of our own sexual assault and our acceptance of it is, I think, the most glaring example of how well trained we are to make ourselves small, to take the blame for whatever happens to us, as we do when we're sexually assaulted. 63% of sexual assaults go unreported. And the interesting thing, when women come forward, especially if it's someone in the public eye, the first thing everyone says is, oh, she's a gold digger, or she just wants the attention, because God knows the wonderful attention women get when they come forward and accuse a powerful man of sexual assault. But the fact of the matter is, the people who study these things say that only between 2 and 10% are found to be false. So that leaves the vast majority of them that are actually true. But the way that we've been trained to not believe women is we react, it's almost the opposite way. Like only 2 to 10% are true and the rest are all false. And that's not the case. The facts don't bear that out. So for myself, it's been a long, hard road to self-love, and one that, I don't know that you ever get a bow on top of your head and you're done and say, oh, I just love myself so well. But there's several steps I've taken, and one is I no longer will give my time, my energy, my money, my support to any person, place, institution, or religion that does not see me as equal. I had to do it with my church, the Catholic Church, aside from the pedophilia, which is a whole nother chapter. But Pope Francis, who is somewhat of a progressive pope in comparison to ones in the past, flat out said women will never serve in the same capacity as men. Okay, you have a right to make that choice. And I tell you that in order to foster my own self-love, anybody who feels that way does not get my time, energy, attention, or money, because I cannot love myself and support someone who openly brags about sexually assaulting women, because when you sexually assault women, you sexually assault me. I'm a woman. We're all connected. If you flat out state that women are not sacred enough to serve in the same capacity as men, well, you're talking about me then. You don't get my support either. If you degrade my sisters or assault my sisters, you do it to me. And in order to foster self-love for myself, I need to remove myself from people, places, and institutions that behave that way. So the other thing is, just imagine if the female running for president, Kamala, a recording came out of her bragging about, whoa, if he wasn't my stepson, I'd be dating him. Seriously? Or bragging about how she grabs men by the dick. Oh my God, she'd be done overnight. Boom. You'd never hear another word about her. She'd be gone. but we've so normalized the sexual assault of women and managed somehow in the process, when we are assaulted, it goes on our shoulders. We're the ones that carry the shame and the blame, that we don't even see what's happening right before our eyes. So to me, politics aside, 1,000,001 other reasons, somebody who sexually assaults women is not someone I would support for anything. Imagine if you called a friend and said, hey, do you know any good plumbers? And she was like, oh my God, he's such a great plumber. The only thing is, he does kind of brag about sexually assaulting women. And he talks about, he kind of lusts after his own daughter. And there's actually 24 women who allege that he assaulted them. Oh, and by the way, there's one woman he's actually been convicted of sexually assaulting, but he's a great plumber. So forget all that. You'd be like, are you out of your mind? You wouldn't hire me as a plumber. What, we're supposed to hire him to lead our country? It's just insane to me, and another example of how women have got to heal ourselves. We have got to come across these kind of things and have a boundary and say, oh my God, no, you disrespect women, you assault women, you brag about assaulting women, you don't think women are equal to men. Okay, you lose me then. You don't get my support. That's why we got to foster and love and heal ourselves. It's the only way anything's ever going to change.